Chapter 6, Blog Camino Francis. The upcoming blog is written by my husband and me during his Camino. I've linked some hypotheses into our conversations on the way as we walked, to create some examples of how they can be put into perspective. Today, March 16th, 2023, I have walked over 7 Caminos and over 7,000 kilometers since my first one in 2019. Hiking on the Camino has become like a retreat in my business, so this world is infinitely important to me today. I am a pilgrim with a capital P, which explains the title of the book, and so I end my book with some descriptions from there. Everyone in my little family is a pilgrim today. Even the older children aged 19 and 21 have walked their own Caminos since they turned 18, and they also return again and again. Just so you can get an introduction to why he chose to walk the Camino, I've included a few of his scribbles from his development way here. They are thought-provoking and very instructive, as they show a different side of the coin from a man's side. Freedom and Love, Erasmus, September 2021. If you were to live life backwards and to understand life the other way around, I'm sitting here in Mallorca and have suddenly understood a lot about my life situation. Understood the processes I have been through in recent years. Big downs, highs, love and family, surface and depth. An engineer on an unlikely and yet inevitable journey. From a life of surface anxiety, stress, worries, and no joy, to a personal journey, a quest of depth, personal insight, and paramount love. Love not only for my loved ones, but also for myself and my fellow human beings. It all started on my 40th birthday, when I bought a Porsche 911, the car I had dreamed of since I was 4 years old. I had achieved all my goals in life and in my career. It didn't give me the feeling of happiness and the ultimate rush that I had expected. On the contrary, it gave me an emptiness. Emptiness of having achieved one's goals but still missing something. Something I didn't know what was. Shortly after, I was laid off from my work in a company I had helped found and build from scratch, but no longer was the owner of. A few months after this, I got divorced. To say goodbye to my security, familiar surroundings, and identity, only to find love shortly after, Natasha. Love is a wild thing when you do not have a concept of what it is. Then, when I found love shortly after my divorce, my surroundings went crazy, to put it mildly. In my old circles, being a seeker and changing tracks was obviously not something that was looked at with mild eyes. Family and friends did everything they could to prevent me from walking the way of my heart. And when choosing a new way in life, one must be determined not to go back. It's so easy to fall in because it's so wonderfully safe. What I and my new family have been exposed to in terms of excessive interference, unpleasant comments, condemnation and disapproval is not for the faint-hearted. Especially when you're not prepared for it. But when you sit here on the other side with great happiness, love, and success experiences, it's incredible to look back at. Friendships, family, and surroundings have been cleaned up. The mind has also been cleared up, but the wounds are deep and take a long time to heal. Love, resistance, overruling, sorrow, and finding oneself and one's position influenced me to go on the most magical experience of my life. Tomorrow, I shall tell you about my vision quest, which marks the end of my walk and quest, but also marks the beginning of my new way. The first way in life that I have chosen independently and on my own. It's not chosen on the basis of expectations, prestige, career, or a halo. It's chosen because it is my way, and it is the way of the heart. AHO. Vision Quest for the Searching Soul. Erasmus, August 2021. Vision quest is an old Indian tradition which exists in several cultures, though not the Western one, and is a rite of passage for the searching soul who, in short, wants to find its way. It's a ritual of manhood in the journey between child and adult, and it is a ritual for the warrior returning home, or simply for the searching soul. Quite concretely, it's an outdoor sitting in a small circle where you can just lie stretched out. You sit in the circle 72 hours without water, sleep, or eating. Whatever happens or you experience, you are not allowed to leave the circle. If you are strong in faith, you are also protected. A quest is not just something you embark on without any preparation. So, as far as I'm concerned, with few exceptions, it's been a purely vegan diet since April. No gluten, no white rice, no deep fryer, no alcohol, no coffee, no nothing, no. Daily meditation, cold baths and swims, bonfires in the garden, bare feet. Throughout my life, I have always been searching, and very often gone to the limits to find that something I didn't know what was. I always felt that something was missing in my life, but I've never been able to figure out what it was. The awareness of this slowly began to dawn on me about 4 years ago, when there was a major upheaval in my life. Suddenly, it wasn't enough to be boundary-seeking, and when I met Natasha, I realized that I had to fundamentally change my life in terms of mind, healthy eating, alcohol, and tobacco. When you cut to the bone with your bad habits, you can no longer hide, and you have to look yourself in the eye. This is an insanely hard and difficult process, and about a year ago I had reached a point where I couldn't get any further on my own. Life presents one with a lot of opportunities, choices, and temptations, and without support, it's only the very few raw people who make fundamental changes in life. Fortunately, I have incredible and great support in Natasha, who helps me stick to my choices. About a year ago, I decided to change my approach to my profession and needed to get to know myself better. With a life as a hardcore career person behind me, I really needed to find my way back and combine my background as an engineer and businessman with emotions, empathy, and humanity. My vision quest is a very concrete way to establish the changes in life. And sitting alone in a circle for 72 hours is truly horrifying. There is none other than me and my thoughts. The ultimate mirror, no hiding places, only surrender and the harsh truth, no matter how much it hurts. I have some ideas and hope for what will come to me during the hours, but I also fear that it is not what I think. However, I rest in the fact that it will be the soul that speaks to me, and the soul knows. The heart knows, and I know in my mind and deep down that all there is love. The next time I write, it'll be about the thoughts I've had in the process and about big news in my family life. I shall officially become a father for the 3rd and 4th time, as my 2 beloved bonus children have agreed that I adopt them. AHO. Vision Quest. Rasmus Camino Francis, 2021. On Friday, September the 10th, I chose to close a chapter with a company that has been a big part of Natasha's and my life for the past almost 5 years. Natasha was scheduled to stop in December 2019, and shortly after came Corona. This turned what the company was upside down, and everything we had launched we had to stop and saddle up. So from being a company with everything I love, lots of people, events, courses, smells, sensuality and coziness, it was turned into a coffee wholesaler, where it was difficult to convey the soul of the product we created. It's been a difficult realization, but in retrospect, I shouldn't have been the owner-manager there. After some years as self-employed, with a successful sale of my business and a problematic divorce that came as a surprise, I didn't have the resources for it. No resources to be a leader, and no resources to be an owner. I can only say today that I am full of respect for all entrepreneurs who fight day and night for many years for their idea or product. And despite a long international corporate career and as a self-employed person, I fell short as an entrepreneur. In any case, the decision to sell or close the company was made with strong support at home. Over the past 6 months, there have been many exciting buyers, but for each and every one, it all fell on me following the sale. And since we had other plans, I wasn't interested in this. I have tied myself up in the sale of business before, and this was a mistake that has cost me humanly in every way. And for that reason, it's obvious that I shouldn't do it again. In the end, I had to be true to myself and cull the money and myself. The company closed on a restructuring, and a couple of fresh guys took over in September the 10th, 2021. Never in my life has a decision felt so right and so relieving. Although it was hard to make, and I had doubts until the last minute, the moment it was rolled out, I could feel how right it was. The events of the weeks that followed were like an epoch, and after the decision, a few days later, came a solution to all challenges around me. Wishes were fulfilled, and I felt a free man for the first time in a very long time. I had been training for 6 months for my vision quest with a purely vegan diet, meditations, and weekly fasting days. But because I followed my intuition, and because I used my emotions, I concluded that sitting out for 72 hours without sleep, food, and drink wasn't right for me. After all, I had just found the answers to everything I was looking for. The vision quest had already opened up my feelings and intuition, and I needed more of a rounding off of the past years. I could easily see myself out there and 100% support others in the circle. But for me, it would just be another quick execution without too much reflection. Instead, the circle became a love trip on the Camino with my beloved, who constantly puts a mirror in front of me to put an end to the past, to let the present settle down and look forward to the future. With the launch and completion of the Ancient Academy, as well as the signing of the first major contract to start in January under those auspices, the closure of another company gave us the freedom to get away for 2 months. 2 months that we spent in northern Spain on the Camino Francis. Here, there is plenty of time and energy to put an end to all the answers and even more. We enjoy the freedom, we enjoy each other, and we enjoy landing in everything new. The children are coming soon to visit us, and life as such is just beautiful and lovely. I walk here every day in gratitude for having set myself free from something that didn't make me happy, for having something amazing to look forward to, and for having landed well after a wild process. By the way, we blog every day about the Camino and our talks, and it'll be launched on Ancient Academy when we are back home.